How's it going, everyone? I'm Contemption, and today we're going to go over how we captured the enemy's sanctuary right before level 7 passes open. Now, this is zone 5 outside of zone or level 4 passes. We did not go south out of the initial time that the level 4 passes opened because we didn't want to concentrate wind. We wanted to concentrate against fire, which we did. We got that zone quite a while ago, secured it, got our sanctuary. But right before the level 7 passes open, one of the leaders in 1937, Hedgehog Madness, decided to go for their sanctuary at the last minute, knowing when their activity levels were going to be and hoping that this would work so that we could not just beat their morals down before the pass is open, but also steal that 10% March increase. So, and that's from the sanctuary. So let's take a look at how that happened. It was a bit of chaos. It was a bit stressful, but we got it done, and let's take a look. Okay, here we go. Jump right into a live video here. Let me just adjust my mic. It's probably going to mess up my thing later, but oh well. So here we are, right, sending everybody through that pass. It was right before level 7 passes open by about 10 hours. So Hedge knew that they were a French alliance and kingdom, and that was to their downfall because we knew they were sleeping. So we rushed everybody out there and dropped a fortress, and the only one person that was out here was actually killing guardians. So he only had gotten through one and then realized that we were all coming out here. At first, when I saw this, I thought they were attacking the guardian together, but no, they were fighting each other. So I do try and go and help, but it was a little late. The guy retreats. He was the only one there in this zone. Everybody else was getting ready for level 7 passes. So if he wasn't there, it's likely we could have probably finished the fort and started burning their flags before they even noticed we were there. Hedge actually named the alliance one of theirs, just changed, I think, a hyphen or something like that to make it look as close as possible. So we got the fortress down here. Obviously, it's about a 2.5, 3 hour build, so it takes a while to get through. How long do we have here? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, everybody's just shooting those out in KC. Obviously, they're not going to know what that means. And if they were just scroll through the map, it'd be hard to tell just because the alliance name looks like theirs. But I think there's still like 2.5 hours at that point. I did just obviously scroll around looking at how many reinforcements were still coming. Some people showed up late. It was a last minute strategy that I know of. Maybe Hedge had this planned out from the beginning, but we only knew about half an hour before we did it. So people were slowly coming out, which obviously hurt us later. And I thought that was an enemy march because they started whacking the reinforcements. But thankfully, most of everybody got out there. We were able to hold it until the build happened. But as you'll see in a second, we did have to do some fighting, and some of their whales did start teleporting in, but it wasn't anything we couldn't handle. So it worked out really well. And that was actually a war rune, so that helped too. We could all refresh those. But it did take a while, and honestly, we weren't too worried about this T4 player. Not a whole lot of kills, not a whole lot of dead. Either a new player or, maybe quit for a while. I don't know. Or he likes farming. One or the other. But it was a pretty good placement. The only concern we really had was obviously not having field advantage if they ported in too many whales. Reinforcements from that far, not fun to do. Usually fortress drops fail. That's how I've viewed them in the past. Anytime in KVK, especially when you're talking about them being one flag away already and having lots of territory around us to teleport to, it was really the element of surprise that led us to do this. Yeah, so it's 4 hours. 4 hours from full. It felt like 20, but thankfully we got through it. So this is when one T5 all of a sudden came out. It was a really slow activity time for them. Here's, I think this is the same guy who was, oh no, that's a different one too. So 2 whales poured out. I think at this time there's still almost 3 hours left. I cut the video a little bit just because you don't need to see everything I recorded. But it did take a while for them to actually show up in numbers. And And we're grateful for that because we took their sanctuary. And I'll show you after this exactly what territory we have. And it really is going to help because now we can unlock 2 bastions that we didn't have, which aren't great. I think one's Charlemagne and one's Freddy. And the skills aren't great. Like, who has Charlemagne expertise? Hopefully nobody. But hey, we get to unlock them and we get those Crusader achievements. So that's really going to help. But as you can see, it was just random small field fighting. These guys didn't come out in any force. We had field control, thankfully. But we start losing that as time goes on and our marches move around. And yeah, we spread out all our marches here so that they can't flag outside of the sanctuary because it was just 1 flag away. So we wanted to make sure that if they were to flag it, it was going to be in a way where their reinforcements to it weren't going to be good, or their rallies to it would give us enough time to swarm their rallies down before they reached it. It worked out really well, the placement and the timing and everything. Could have had more people online for ourselves, but people started showing up as the, I guess, event continued, but really tricky. Definitely tricky. Yeah, they just, I don't know. These whales just didn't really even feel like fighting. They'd retreat as soon as you cast your marches on them and just try and play shell games the whole time. I probably would have went at it myself differently, but hey, that's just me. Filled my hospital a few times. Try and wake people up on Discord, but maybe they tried that. But just taking out the weak marches, the Pila. But here we go. Honestly, nobody showed up. Hour and 20 minutes, then now 50 minutes, and we still had no issues. There was no rallies casted against us. They didn't build any flags. We're all just sitting there waiting for it to finish. The sanctuary was still like 8 hours away from opening, so we knew we would have a good fight until we took it. But even then, there's only 3 guys in the 3 hours that we've already built it. And they did have, obviously we were starting to jump the mountains here because we realized nobody's showing up. We might as well go do as much damage as we can to all of the territory they've built in this zone 5. We even built up north as well. Yeah, right there. Use my farms to help build those and reinforce them. And farms are great if you can have them at CH25. Just sending, there's my farms, just sending whatever troops you can into them. It helps. It really, really does. Even if, you got to have a good garrison up there, but even then, a solo player isn't really going to surround it unless they're a strong T5. But here, we already have some flags down. The fortress is done, and now we get to rally. Now, Artemisia and, why do I forget her name? Artemisia and Amani, brain fart. Really hard to take down. Like, the reports that came back, we didn't beat this flag until the whale started surrounding it. Like, this is when we got the health already halfway down. I think we only needed to hit it 1 more time, and then there was no way they could repair it. It was just going to burn out. But some of the reports are nasty. I'm sure the gear on this player, who's probably has max crystal tech, is, full specialized archer gear with great accessories, but man, it hurts. It really does. Thank you to the whales for doing the surrounding at the end, but we'll just quickly take a look at this and show you the report afterwards. We could, of course, do better on reinforcements. It did dip down quite a bit, so that's obviously going to help. I myself could have sent a second cavalry march on the first rally, but didn't do it until the second because you can leave a rally and then rejoin it as much as you want. Obviously, I'd run out of T5 cavalry eventually, but it still worked out pretty good. As you'll see, like, it just does massive damage. I can't believe how well that combination works. Obviously, it's the new meta for sure. That, and even Jadwiga has been having awesome reports with Saladin as a secondary. Just blows my mind. But hey, awesome you get to use older commanders. Yeah, it's Hedge cancels eventually. I think the rally dips to like 1.2 before he cancels. It just doesn't, you don't get good trades at that point. You need to keep the rally full, especially when the flag just has 2 million capacity and so does your rally. You got to keep it as close to 2 million as you can. So 1.5 and above is probably the best you're going to do, because some whales have, 400,000 troop capacity. So it's going to dip down before they can get into it. But it did, I think here's where it kind of starts dipping down. And this is when I could have had a second march available to fill it up. But do that on the next one. This report was pretty ugly. Not terrible by any means, but we'll take a look at that now. So, kind of a little bit less, because you got to take into account the severely wounded, but like just a beast. I can't believe how well it did. Hedge has great tech, great gear. I've seen his cavalry gear. It's really good. Full set with some specialized in it as well. But this is the one that takes it when the whales step up. I brought a second march so that I can reinforce. They start losing some momentum, and then you can really tell at the end there, once we start swarming, they stop sending reinforcements. Just, you can't send them fast enough at that point. But they do have their castles chained, so they can jump around securely without getting, their reinforcements taken down beforehand. But we definitely do a better job on reinforcing in this second rally. I don't know if anything else would have done better. Yeah, maybe. No, I don't think anything does better. I think this is the best you can do with XY and Chandragupta. I think that's really the best you can get. I could have left my march in there a little bit longer, but I pulled it out at about 100,000. But my march capacity is like 350, I think, at this point. So, yeah, okay, this one's down to 290, just because I was doing some field fighting accidentally with them. But I do get pulled into the AoE, which is ugly. Thankfully, it was only, I think, once or twice, but I dislike how your marches surround the troops and then you get pulled into the AoE without even, thinking it's gonna happen. But it does definitely happen, and it hurts. It does not feel good. Yeah, so it's not long before the whales start sliding down and deciding, you know what, this is it. So we dip down to 1.3, back up to 1.56. So it definitely needs to be better. I should start sending, and I'll put a card up at the top, start sending my reinforced rally video to people in PMs. Might be a bit rude, but some people just don't get it. Some of them jump into the AoE and before they even get into the rally or reinforce from too far away. Not a smart thing, but here we go. Cherith starts to hit it from behind, and that's going to hurt. Like, he's putting a huge debuff on it. It's Tamarison behind there, just adding skill damage to XY and Chandragupta. And then here, see there, unfortunately my guys got pulled in. So try to avoid that. That was my bad. But here we go, and then more whales start coming down and just swarming it. It is ugly. Great report at the end. Obviously, you're going to get most of the, here comes the whales, but you're going to get the best results from the end of the rally if you can succeed, because that's when they're going to take the most severely wounded and deaths. And here they go. So Honor Ghost, great marches, full crystal tech, awesome commanders, awesome gear, and she's going down. That's it. They can't even reinforce fast enough if they wanted to. That's it. I'm no whale, so I'm not into the whole hitting flags or cities without a rally. I've done it in the past. I think my top power was 115 million, and I think I dropped 1 KVK from like an hours of swarming to like 95 million. It's ugly. I won't be doing that again, that's for sure. But here's the report for that, and much better. 877,000 when you add in the severely wounded. Definitely did good that time. Oh no, we still got another rally. Oh, that's right. We have one more rally coming from our coalition. So there is the skills again. Nothing changed from the last one. It was just that we had better reinforcements. We had the T5 swarm at the end. That's what did it. Those debuffs definitely help. Okay, so here we go. So this is Jadwiga and Saladin, and we got XY and I believe Chandra Gupta as a secondary. Yeah, perfect. So this one, the report was awesome. They were not able to reinforce easily. There's just no way. Oh, and it's not even an expertise Saladin. Not that that matters a huge bit, but when you're talking about garrison, you really want that extra. I think that's 300 damage factor for Saladin's expertise. Yeah, so them reinforcing is harder. Now, for whatever reason, the mountains played a part in getting your marches swarmed here. I brought 4 extra marches out, and for whatever reason, one of them decided to go around and in through that swarm. So you'll see that in a second. It was pretty ugly. But actually, you know what? The report wasn't terrible. Some of them were actually like fair, even reports, and I wasn't even casting skills. So I take that's probably from the march capacity that I have. And see, all my marches come that way, except for my one Ramses march that goes up top, and that player is just like, okay, great. But thankfully the report isn't too bad, but I'm confused. Where am I getting attacked from? No idea. It was so confusing, and then boom, that's why. Just bizarre. No idea how that happened, but got to pay attention to where your marches are going, that's for sure. I should have zoomed out and taken a look, but oh well. Yeah, here it is, and I think I get to join. Yeah, so I believe I pop out of the rally here, join with another full one. You want to keep it up as high as you can. Boom, just under 100,000 there. And then just wait to get into that flag. So I pull out my rally, or my march from the rally here, just because it's dipping pretty low into the red. 70,000 left, so better to reinforce it again. I know I can come from the behind, and I'm not going to get hit. And I think I get in right at the end here, and the T5 starts swarming. They know there's not many troops left in there, so that's it. She is pretty much done. I just take a look. That was my march. They were pretty evened out. I was surprised considering it was a swarm, but there we go. That rally is done. They were finished at that point. We knew we had the sanctuary. They were going to fight a little bit, but we knew we were probably going to be taking it without much more resistance. And there's the report. So it got wrecked. That was a great report, and that's probably because of the placement of where it was. But from here, I will just jump over now to there. Perfect. Okay, so this is where we ran through. As you can tell, they have lost their sanctuary, which is great because it helped for our level 7 pass war, which we're in right now. This is the sanctuary. So this is where we placed it. It was called differently before. We changed the name back. Where is that? Yeah, right there. Click the wrong thing. But this is the sanctuary. So they lost the 10% march speed, obviously the points, and then we're going to have access now to Frederick and Charlemagne. So I imagine we'll be building up to Freddy, unless that's what that 90 RL is. And currently we are out in fire zone, what would this be, zone 6, through level 7 passes, and we are just pushing through, burning things. We've taken down a lot of cities who've just left themselves open for rallies, so it's worked out really well. But that's all I got. I can't believe that one worked out. Usually, especially in that instance where they had lots of ability to teleport their marches to and their castles for reinforcements, I'm surprised it worked, but they might have just looked at it as, who cares? It's an old zone. They've already gotten what they wanted out of it. I think the 10% march speed is a terrible thing to lose, but obviously they didn't care. So that's all I got for this video, guys. I've got lots more footage coming up. I'll edit it. I'll post it. Thanks for sticking by. If you like these videos, please hit the like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Talk to you later.